Good morning, grade threes. I hope you had a really good weekend and you're ready to go for the second week of remote learning. Hopefully, you got to do something at home with your families that was a bit fun on the weekend and you're refreshed and ready to go for another week. I'm reporting from my kitchen dining table today, so that's the background I've got behind me, okay? So today we're going to do another one of those lessons where we write some really good sentences. So last week we looked at writing great sentences with some connectives and choosing the right connective and up-leveling some of our word choice. Today we're going to change our focus a little bit because for the next 2 weeks we're going to be looking at using openers. So our learning focus today is to write great sentences using a variety of openers. And it's really important that we use that word variety, which means different types, because often when we write, especially when we're learning to write, we get stuck in a habit of using the same kind of openers all the time. We might say, I did this and I did that and I did this and I did that. So we need to try to use some different openers. So openers are sort of the one or two words that we use to start a sentence, okay? It might be one word, 2 words, or it might be a short phrase of like 3 or 4 words. It really does depend, and there's heaps of different types of openers you can use. So we're going to have a look at some different ones today. So there are 4 success criteria that we need to think about today. So the first one is I can write a simple, compound, and complex sentence. So we're going to look at the 3 different sentence types, which we have looked at before, but I'm going to remind you about them. I can use different openers to begin my sentences. So we're going to be looking at 3 different openers. I can use punctuation and connectives in my sentences. So it's going to be really important that when we write these sentences, we remember that we need to use some punctuation and we remember the connectives that we had last week. And also I can use neat and accurate handwriting. So today, you're not going to be writing a lot. You're not going to be writing heaps and heaps of paragraphs or even a full story. You're going to really be focusing on writing 3 sentences. And because there's only 3 sentences, it's very important that we write great sentences. They're not just sort of quick efforts or half efforts. They're great sentences. It means they have the right punctuation. They're neat and written in neat and accurate handwriting. And you're trying to use some different openers because that's our big focus today, all right? And you will do that naturally with this lesson. So we're going to have a look at the sentence types first because you're going to be writing one of each. So we have the 3 different main types of sentences here. Okay, we've got simple sentences, compound sentences, complex sentences. So they're all slightly different in what they look like, but they all need to be used in our writing at different points. Okay, so a simple sentence is a really short sentence. For example, we like pizza. So when I say it's a short sentence and it's very simple, it has to be complete. So that's very important that you'll remember that. So in that one we've got here, we like pizza, that's a complete sentence. It tells us that a group of people like pizza, or some sort of group like pizza, and they all are in agreement. This one here, I wonder what, full stop. That's not a simple sentence because it's not a complete sentence. It's not finished. Okay, so for a simple sentence to work, it has to be finished. A compound sentence is a sentence that has 2 parts. Okay, so it's very similar to compound words. So, for example, Batman would be a compound words. The bat and the man coming together, the meanings come together to make the word Batman. So Similarly, a compound sentence is two parts of a sentence coming together. Okay, so if you have a look at this one, we like pizza and we like spaghetti. So we like pizza is a sentence, a simple sentence, and we like spaghetti is a simple sentence, but they've been put together using the red or the pink connective. Okay, so a compound sentence has two parts. That's the most important thing to remember, and the connective word joins these two parts together. A complex sentence has an extra detail on top of that, okay? So we went out for pizza and spaghetti. So that's the first sort of part of the sentence before we had to go to the football game. So the two parts of this sentence, the first sort of describes going out for the pizza and the spaghetti, and then the football game is the other thing that they did. So you're sort of connecting two things that happened in sort of, but they're not happening at the same time. Okay, so we went out for pizza and spaghetti before we went to the football game. It's giving that extra detail. All right, and has the extra detail, and it often uses words like although, after, before, because, although again, when, since, and many others. So it's kind of like connecting two things that happened, okay, and it's giving that extra detail. And in this particular example, there's two parts, okay? Then sometimes there might be three. So that's a complex sentence. So what you will be doing today is you're going to be thinking about those sentence types. And we're going to be writing one. So you're going to use these words: hurriedly, sadly, last night. So they're the three openers that you're going to be using. And then you need to write your own sentences. One has to be a simple sentence. One has to be a compound sentence. And the last one has to be a complex sentence. So these are the ones that I did. Hurriedly, I slammed the door shut. So that's a simple sentence. It's just one thing that happened. You did it hurriedly, I slammed the door shut. So it kind of doesn't show up very well on the picture that I took. But what I did is I wrote my words in different colors. So hurriedly was written in blue because it's an opener. All right. The punctuation there, the comma, was in green. Okay. Same with a full stop. What's important for you to know is that when you use an opener, often a comma is used. So in this example, hurriedly, I slammed the door shut. Okay, so it has to be a comma, a little pause. And in this example, it's the same. This one, it's not. Last night, I went to a party with some friends. So this one is different. Okay, it doesn't need that pause. So that was my simple sentence. Okay, it's one short sort of thing that happened. This one, sadly, is my opener, and it's a comma. Sadly, I turned to walk away. Comma again, I didn't know when I'd be back. It's a compound sentence because I turned to walk away and I didn't know when I'd be back. They're being put together, compound. And the last one, last night I went to a party with some friends. Okay, so that was the first thing that happened. Before, there's my connective word, going to bed. So it's telling us two things that happened. Went to a party with some friends first, used a connective there, before going to bed. Okay, so it's a complex sentence because it's that extra little piece of information coming into it. Okay, so I want you to try to write one of each one of those sentences. You need to start with hurriedly, sadly, and last night. Okay, they're the three openers we're practicing. All right, guys, I look forward to seeing how you all go. And if you have any questions, make sure you write a comment on here if you think everyone needs to know. Otherwise, you can message myself or one of the other teachers. Thanks, guys.